I decided after watching a TikTok, a young lady who put the entire PDF of the chat of the of the bill, the big beautiful bill through ChatGPT. I don't believe everything that I hear on these things. I determine if there are reputable sources. If it's a source I don't know, I verify before I put it on with you guys. I mean, I make sure. My goal to you is to be as truthful and as factual as I can with you. So I did the experiment myself. And I went ahead and I downloaded the great, big, beautiful bill that these guys have. And then I passed it through ChatGPT. And all I said was, the query was, please tell me. This is what I told ChatGPT. I said, please tell me what you think of the following bill. That's all. I wanted to make sure it was an unbiased measure or an unbiased query after I uploaded the bill. This is what ChatGPT gave me. Brief overview. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act, H.R. 119, bundles hundreds of disparate measures into a single reconciliation package that aggressively redistributes wealth upward, hollows out protections, and kneecaps climate change, all while sprinkling in election year talking points about freedom and accountability. I'm like, oops, ChatGPT didn't pull any punches for the brief overview of the bill. It then says, tighten SNAP rules and work requirements, making food assistance harder to access for millions of low-income adults and older workers. Imposes mandatory community engagement work rules on Medicaid enrollees, a proven recipe for large coverage losses and bureaucratic churn. Permanently extends and expands most of 2017 Trump tax cuts while adding new giveaways, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, locking in trillions in lost revenue that disproportionately benefit whom? The wealthy. Repeals or sunset virtually every clean energy credit enacted in the Inflation Reduction Act, including the Clean Vehicle Credit and home energy incentives, and rescinds major EPA and climate justice funds. Wow. Authorizes fresh defense and border security spending hikes while quietly raising the statutory debt limit, an admission that the bill's own tax bonanza will explode, not shrink federal deficits. The legislation reads as a wish list for fossil fuel interests, billionaire donors, and austerity ideologues. It demands more work from the poor, hands out more wealth to the rich, and abandons the planet in the process. That is the synopsis. Now comes the part. It says nutrition assaults. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act operates as an ideological Trojan horse. Its 1,000 plus pages cloak sweeping structural changes behind folksy titles such as Making America Families and Workers Thrive Again. Yet every major subtitle tilts resources towards corporations and the already affluent. So it says one thing, but it does the other. And that's how good these guys are with words. And for those who don't critically think, like a few in our chat, they believe the crap because they have an inability to critically think. Nutritional assaults. Title I rewrites the Thrifty Food Plan so that benefit levels can never rise beyond inflation and must remain cost neutral even when the real price of nutrition food outpaces CPI adjustments. At the same time, Section 1002 raises the general SNAP work requirements age to 65 and narrows the waiver criteria for areas of high unemployment. A county must suffer over 10% unemployment before relief is possible. These changes ignore USDA data showing that work requirements have little effect on job prospects, but reliably cut people off food assistance. Medicaid work rules on steroids. Subtitle D of Title IV resurrects Medicaid work experiments that court struck down in Arkansas and New Hampshire for violating the Social Security Act. Beginning in 2026, applicable individuals must document 80 hours per month of work, training, or community service or lose coverage for at least one coverage period. Even when states try to verify such data, ex parte experience shows thousands of eligible recipients are purged for red tape reasons, not joblessness. The bill bars HHS from issuing waivers to soften these rules and direct attacks on flexibility. Climate and energy rollbacks. Perhaps the most far-reaching damage appears in Title 4 and Title 8. The measure zeroes out the IRA's clean vehicle credit by 2026 and eliminates the predecessor credits 1 year earlier. It also repeals funds for both electrification, methane reduction, environmental justice block grants, diesel emission cleanups, and heavy-duty truck standards. These repeals would derail nascent domestic manufacturing of batteries, EV chargers, heat pump components, and renewables, all sectors that analysts say are driving the fastest job growth in the U.S. manufacturing since the 1990s. So they have decided to put out all these things. Thank you for being here, Peter Sikowski. See you next week. Now, tax cut windfall and fiscal hypocrisy. Here we go. Title 11's marquee promise to prevent tax hikes by making the 2017 individual rate cuts, the pass-through reduction, listen to this, the pass-through deduction and the double estate tax permanent. Nonpartisan estimates place the 10-year cost of those extensions at roughly $3 million, yet the bill's only significant offsets come from rescinding unspent climate dollars and tightening safety net eligibility. In short, it robs the poor and the planet to enrich others. Okay? Punitive immigration and administrative hurdles. The judiciary and Homeland Security title pile new fees on asylum seekers, parole applicants, DACA recipients, and even U.S. citizens sponsoring unaccompanied minors. Coupled with expanded detention capacity and ICE hiring, the bill channels more public money into private detention contracts while erecting toll booths for legal pathway status. And democratic accountability. Because H.R. 1 moves through reconciliation, the majority can pass this omnibus with a bare Senate majority and minimal debate. The very scale of the bill suppresses scrutiny. Legislators and the press must sift through agricultural programs, tax law, Medicaid statutes, and EPA rules all at once. That process betrays any claim of transparency. There you go. So the conclusion that ChatGPT has is a progressive reading finds that the One Big Beautiful Bill Act weaponized budget reconciliation to amplify unequal and fossil fuel dependence while stigmatizing poverty. It demands more reporting from a single mother on SNAP than from a hedge fund here using an expanded estate tax loophole. So a rich person doesn't have to come up with a whole lot of stuff to prove to the IRS, but a mother wanting SNAP does. Wow. It yanks the fire hose from firefighters and hands it to the terrorists. Congress should reject the measure and instead pursue targeted legislation that strengthens rather than shreds the social safety net and invest in a just low carbon economy. That from ChatGPT, not my voice, ChatGPT, after doing an objective analysis of that particular destructive bill. Now, my MAGA listeners, you can jump and throw your hands up in the air and just call it lie and progressive and all of that. But you know what? When you start to feel the pain, the sad thing about it, it will already be done. When your family that you claim or you purport to love start to feel the pain, will you let them know that you had all the information to make good choices, but you made the wrong choice, mostly because of your prejudice and otherwise? Will you tell your folks that?
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please. join.